All right, this fight just got announced, and I don't know about you, but I'm confused, and I'm kind of a little disappointed, if I'm honest, right? I don't want to be a hater per se, but I do want to keep it honest with you. This fight makes no sense. It really makes no sense at all. Volk just fought Diego Lopes. He just beat him, and you would think he's at a point right now where he doesn't have many left. This could be his last one. Who knows? So you'd think he'd get a fresh matchup against the guy that's going to really be like a name you could look back on and say, oh, that was a great one. Beating Diego, that was a great win. That was a good name to have on the resume for Volk, especially at the time, right? He was down and out. People were counting him out. You need to retire. You're old. You're getting slapped. This guy's gonna take your chin off. Goes out there, proves everybody wrong, beats Diego, and he's back as the champ. Everything feels right. So you're expecting him to get another guy that's going to be, legacy building, a great resume name to have when you look back on it. And instead, we get this one again, right? You get this rematch that wasn't called for. It isn't justified, and it just doesn't make it. It doesn't make any sense, man. Like, what's the deal here? What's the dealio with this, right? I thought he was going to fight Lerone Murphy, right? I thought that was the fight that made sense. Lerone was undefeated on the win streak, came off the crazy freaking knockout over my boy Pico. Called out Volk. Volk agreed. That's the fight, right? Well, didn't get it done. And there were other options even. There's always the option of Mosvar. You would think. It seems like he's always been, next up for a long time now, cuz he'll beat a guy and then he'll just disappear. But Mosvar, another undefeated guy that would have been great to have on Volk's freaking record if he can get it done. Well, that fight doesn't go down either. So Larone's out and Mosvar's out. Those two guys didn't get the shot. Well, what about Aljo? I thought Aljo was next after those two. Aljo's, former champion. He's got the name. That would have been a phenomenal name for Volk to get one over on. That would have had like a little bit of a super fight feel even. This guy Aljo, he's a phenomenal fight for Volk here. I thought I would if I'm Volk, I would have picked that one first. I would have said, give me Aljo, because that's the biggest name, the former champ, and it would have looked the best to have on the record. Well, that doesn't get done either. Instead, they go, well, we've got three guys, three freaking great fights that could happen next. Let's go ahead and get Diego up in there again. So it makes you think, is there some sort of bias here going on where they just really want Diego to be the champ? They really want him to be the face of featherweight. And their hope is that he can go out there, avenge this one against Volk, and then they'll probably kick Volk to the side and then say, well, let's give the revenge tour. We'll give Diego Mosvar next. Defend your belt against him. Like, are they really pushing their chips and banking on Diego getting this one done? Maybe they're thinking, Volk's older. He's had a little bit of a layoff since that fight. Diego came back, beat down on Gene Silva. He looked phenomenal. He's dangerous. Are they banking on him getting this done? Is that why they pushed all those other guys to the side and threw Diego back in there again? Because, the other thing you would think is, hey, maybe they offered those guys, those other contenders, the title shot. They all said no, which is, it's hard to believe all you're telling me all three of them guys would say no to the title shot they've been calling for all this time? Because it's hard to believe that, especially when, I see Mosvar, he's calling out Lerone Murphy, saying let's fight on the same night. So it's like I don't think they should do that, because if they do, it would really look confusing, right? If those two guys are on the same card as these guys, people are gonna be like, well, those two guys were like kind of more worthy-ish than Diego in ways, right? They were the guys that didn't fight Volk yet, that were on win streaks, but knowing they were healthy enough to fight him and they still gave it to Diego, that would really not make a whole lot of sense, you know. Uh, so I don't wanna drag this on any longer. My point here is this fight, it's not a fight that makes sense. That being said, it will be exciting. I will be nervous. The first time they fought, what did you think, right? You probably thought, Alex will probably get it done if he can survive, not get clipped, drag this fight out. He's got the fight IQ, experience. He should get it done. But I'm gonna be nervous the whole time because this guy right here could freaking crack him at any moment. It's gonna be the exact same feel going into this rematch. So I'm still gonna be nervous for it, and sure it'll be a great scrap. Who knows? You know, if Diego goes out there and takes out Volk, that'll be really sad for Volk. That will be heartbreaking for Volk, right? But I guess this is the cards he's been dealt. He's got to do this one again, for whatever reason. And I'm hoping he doesn't retire if he does get it done, win or lose. I'm hoping he. Well, I'm hoping. I'll be honest. I'm hoping he gets this one done, and then he can finally maybe fight one of these fresh guys. Right? Let's get a fresh contender in there for Volk. And yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. And I don't know. It's an interesting matchup for sure. But we'll see.